Okay, hello everybody. How are you all doing? For those of you that are new to my channel, I'd just like to take a couple minutes, introduce myself. For some of my new friends on Facebook that have come to know from different networking events, my name's Jen, and I live here in Fort Worth, Texas. I am a nurse that has more than 20 years of nursing experience in various areas, from pediatric home health, oncology, geriatric care, psychiatric, substance abuse, also patients that schizophrenia, including hallucinations, behavioral health, mental health, psychiatric disorders, some, like I said, geri-psych, others just really struggling with anxiety and depression, utilization review management, prior authorizations for when your doctor writes you need an MRI or physical therapy. Utilization review is looking over those to see if it meets criteria for care. And then also occupational health and employee health, which I am really loving. Now, some of my friends that have been friends with me for a really long time know about 2 years ago, I made the decision to move to Texas. Well, it was a little more than 2 years ago. However, I've lived in Texas now officially for 2 years. And I just want to come on and tell everybody and share a little bit of my story and why I made that decision, where some probably thought was crazy, to move, cross country without really, knowing that many people. I had like one set of friends here that I knew really well, and through them I knew some their friends, but I really didn't have in my area a lot of close, friends. But thankfully I've made really good friends here and am loving it here. So about March 2022, had some good friends come visit me, and they had lived in Ohio. I'd known them for years, and then they came to visit and were like, hey, have you thought ever of moving to Texas? And we had thought about the possibility and, discussed it, and then COVID happened and kind of put that on the back burner of just thinking about that at that time, and then was reapproached with, hey, have you ever thought about moving to Texas? And I was like, I don't know. Let me really think about this and consider it. I had a full-time job at the time, had really great friends. My family probably lived about no more than 2 hours away. So all my friends, my immediate family, super close, like I said, about 2 hours away. For me, that's not a big deal to drive that far. So I'm very close with my family. So I had to consider many aspects of not having family close by, not having as many friends, but still having, smaller support system, leaving a full-time job and making that decision, and then finding another full-time job. And then also Ohio at the time was not a part of the compact state like it is now. So then going through and having to do all the requirements to get my Texas nursing license, which included, background check, getting the old-fashioned fingerprint, not on the computer, but with the ink pad, whole 9 yards, and having to send that in. So it was a lot of work, and also a lot of cost involved with that. There was a fee for the fingerprinting, the fee to the Board of Nursing, Texas, and then fingerprint fee, then background fee, the application fee, and then there was another fee of where they look at all your records. So at the time, about like $300 or so, which, for some people can be a lot of money, so completely understand that. But when I was posed with the question, have you ever thought of moving to Texas? I really had to consider what was that going to look like for me? Where was I going to work? Where was I going to live? Also, how was I going to move cross country where I'd lived in, around Northwest Central Ohio for the past 20 some odd years. So I had a lot of stuff. And even then I tried to keep it, kind of minimalistic, except for, my makeup brushes. Those who know me know. My vanity area, they've seen it. So I really had to think about lots of logistical stuff, all, like how was I, gonna move, just the thought of packing up all my stuff. I know that's one thing, nobody likes to move, just getting a new job, all those transitions. I was making these big life transitions all at the same time. And I remember when my friends had posed that question to me of, hey, have you thought about moving to Texas from Ohio? I was like, let me really think about this, because I needed to know if it was the right decision for myself. I don't want to sound selfish, but I'm the one that pays my bills, and I had to make sure that this was the right decision truly for myself. So I'm not gonna apologize for what's doing best for me and my health and my future and my happiness and all that good stuff. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to make that decision. And I think it was 1 or 2 days later, I was talking to somebody else about the decision. I didn't want to make a rush decision about moving cross country at all. And, I talked to somebody about it, that Thursday or Friday, like I saw my friends came in town, like we met up that Wednesday. So talked to somebody and talked to Nellie on Friday. And then over that weekend, I was like, okay, I'll apply for, Texas nursing license. So I did that, and I know it's a process of getting that done. And in the meantime, I'd already had certain events planned, certain conferences, some that were at the very end of July. I had two kind of back to back, one in Vegas and then one in Orlando. And then my current job that I had been at, and at this time I'd probably been there for several years at that time. And I think it was like 3.5, 4 years at the time. They kept denying my vacation at the vacation that I was, quote, already told and promised that I could have the time off. I had the hours, and the sad thing was it was the only difference of 2 days. They had known for almost a year about the time off, the dates. And one of the weeks, somebody else had put in a vacation right after I did, because I'd put it in an original time off system, but then we went to another one. So made sure put that in right away, but somebody else wanted the time off, and they didn't want more than 2 people off at the same time. And honestly, it would have only been a difference of 2 days, because I was kind of going the first week at the end of the week in all reality. So it was really seriously 2 days. And then I was like, okay, that was kind of the catalyst, confirmation I needed to be like, okay, this job really doesn't value me. We were told, hey, if you have something planned, make sure you have asked for it, in plenty of time. They knew these conferences, trips were already paid for. And then they're like, oh yeah, sorry, you can't go. And so that was kind of the catalyst for the decision. I was like, okay. And that would have been just for starting to look for a new job, finding another job. However, then when that question was posed to me, have you thought about this? Then I was really considering it, okay, well, if I'm already having to look for a new job, and then I was like, okay, well, where am I going to work? And I started applying for jobs. However, I had to wait till I got my Texas nursing license, which took a while to get before I could apply for jobs in Texas, because you have to have that magic number. And I started just really considering it. And I even drove to Texas and packed up my car and, told some people just so they wouldn't freak out, like I was doing a trial run, but I was going there to be able to apply for jobs while I was there. And hopefully in the time period I was there, get my Texas nursing license and be able to go on interviews, and I could stay with my friends. So kind of packed up the Subaru, packed up, Miss Duchess at the time, and packed up pretty much everything I could fit in the Subaru, and, took the two-day drive to Texas, had my car, all packed up to the brim, and then had, stopped halfway, which was someplace, I think around like Memphis, Tennessee or something is halfway. And then I stayed with my friends for a couple weeks. And while I was there, I did get my nursing license. It came through within, I think, the first week of me being there, first couple days. So then I was able to apply for jobs, and I had applied for a couple jobs. And then one I applied to, I'm going to say, on a Thursday, Friday. And then that Monday, HR was reaching out, that Tuesday was talking to somebody. And then that Wednesday, I was getting called to set up the interviews for the Friday for before Memorial Day weekend. And so I had the interview, and then drove back to Ohio to get, finish up packing, getting all my things in order, because I had a lot of furniture to donate, and go through that process. And then I would be starting my new job in August, because I had a lot of events at the end of July that then I, was able to go to. And I would have gone to them anyhow, because one, I'd already paid for them. Had already advocated for myself. So I don't want to say this was the hill I was going to die on, but I would have probably honestly called out those 2 days. What were they going to do? Because at that time I was already, going to be looking for a new job. And this is where sometimes I'm not telling people to call off. However, this is one of those situations where it's already paid for. You were told yes, months earlier, then all of a sudden you're told, oh no, you can't do it. And so that was one of the things I was proud of myself for, was advocating, because probably in the past, the old me wouldn't have advocated for myself. I probably would have been like, oh, okay. However, my time's valuable, my money's valuable. I had paid for these trips. And also, I'd wanted to go on them. One of the conferences was a conference I'd been looking forward to for at least a year, because the previous conference they had done online, and this one, because of COVID, was now going to be in person. And one of the other trips was just a lot of the people from Ohio. There's several people from Ohio that were going to be there that I kind of knew of, but didn't know as well until after the trip. and to be able to network with other people, with the one group, be able to network with fellow nurses, and the other group just to network with other fellow entrepreneurs. I was like, this is a big opportunity for myself, and also vacation and to have fun. And I'm glad I did, because there was a lot of things I was able to do. I, took myself to the Harry Potter park. I took myself to a concert. I toured Vegas, did the little gondola ride at the Venetian, by myself. I didn't care. I was doing all the touristy things. Did not care. I was having the time of my life. And then to be able to go to Disney, the Harry Potter park for the first time, get to go to Disney World for the first time. I mean, I'd been to Disneyland, and I'd gone to whatever that the strip is in Disneyland, where it has all the shops, but not in the park like Disney. I think in Orlando it's Disney Springs and City Walk there, but hadn't ever had an opportunity to go to the park. So I was taking this time for myself and giving myself some fun. And then, started my new job in August, which was really, really great, and learned a lot. And so many people ask me why I moved. Well, other reasons why I moved was I was given an opportunity, and if I didn't do it then, when was I going to move? Because moving is hard, and, really choosing myself. And I love my family. However, my family's not going to be staying in Ohio for the rest of their lives. They want to move. They're tired of the cold winters. So they're going to be moving too. So I wasn't just going to stay because of my family when I know they're going to be moving. And I know as a nurse, there are many opportunities for nurses in different areas. So I wasn't too worried about getting a job in nursing. I was more, I won't say worried, but, just driving cross country and moving, but, finding, an affordable apartment, all of those things, would I like my new job? Would I like my coworkers? I think questions you just always have in those transitions. A lot of people were, weren't you afraid? Weren't you scared? And there was times I was like, yeah, definitely driving, 20 hours by myself, a little scary in some places, and just starting over, that's always scary. You can say all the cute Christian phrases. The Christianese is what I call it. And you can say all of them like, oh, I, have enough faith, there's nothing to fear. But fear is a real emotion, like anger. And, just going through that is still like, okay, have faith, I'm going to get through this, but what do I need to do? What actions can I take that's going to make this less scary for myself? What can I do, so I won't be as afraid of a big transition? How can I have more confidence in driving 20 hours by myself? How can I have, more confidence in, a new job and learning a new skill set? So that's how I was able to overcome some of those fears. And some of those fears were irrational, some of them not rational. But also just moving, there's always some stress with moving and new jobs and all those transitions and just moving cross country. So I was having multiple transitions, thankfully, all at the same time, where I did have some time off work before my new job started to kind of be able to process everything. And I know that's a luxury. Most people don't have. I thankfully was able to balance my finances and able to allow me to do that. And like I said, I know it's a privilege. I know not everybody has that opportunity to be able to take some time to breathe and process all those changes at once. Is what also helped me get through it is, talking to somebody about it. I thankfully had two really good support people that I was talking through during that time. One was, I know, at least like once a week, and these were people who knew me, but they weren't attached to the outcome. They were there to support me, and it was kind of like a third party in a way. They like there was no conflict of interest in whichever way I decided that was right for me. And so they would help me ask questions for myself of, what would this look like? What can you get done today? What is going to help with this transition? And sometimes it's just breaking down those pieces little by little and, just having a support system. I've been one that's always kind of journaled. So sometimes I would journal and, write out things, I was grateful for, things, that I accomplished that day. And also really learning who I was, what I wanted in a job, even what I wanted in a partner, what I wanted, apartment wise, and all those things. And, I know a lot of people talk about manifestation and stuff, as I sometimes do. However, just like that, just like prayer, there's also work involved. Like you can pray you get that new job. You can pray your move is successful. However, there's work involved. Most people have, you can pray for the job, the applications, all the things. However, you still have to apply for the job. Most people still have to go online, apply for the job, update their resume, do all those beautiful things. Most jobs just aren't handed to somebody. And even if they're going to be, they still have to, usually fill out the job application. And for me, it was filling out the job application, getting a Texas nursing license, also packing up everything and donating everything. I pretty much donated all my furniture. Donated all the furniture. Just really took my cat, my clothes, books, makeup, my laptop and printer, and that was about it. So then to, move to Texas and completely start over, new job, find a place, all, get new furniture. So it was exciting too. And that's the really good part about it is exciting to start over. So many times we are fearful about starting over, but it sometimes gives you some really great opportunities to live in a new place, try something new. And I know myself is why I'm sharing my story, is to give you all hope. Like, you don't have to stay in the same job. You don't have to stay in the same area. And I know there's affirmations that people say, well, prosper where you have planted. However, if it's not a good environment, or I don't want to say it wasn't a good environment, I just didn't feel like I was growing. And I really wanted to grow. And I loved my friends. And it wasn't anything to do with my friends, nothing like that. Love them to death. It was just like, I knew I needed a change. I knew I needed to grow. And this was giving me that opportunity to do that. There is things personally, professionally, as some of you know, or might not know, I also previously, when I was living in Ohio, also did a lot of legal nurse consulting work. I was a certified legal nurse consultant and had like my own side business doing that. And then when I moved to Texas, I decided to pivot, decided to put that on hold for a while to see if that's really what I wanted to do. And I loved doing it and was really good at it because I'm super detail oriented and love doing chart audits and all that fun stuff. Started off in medical records doing coding, billing. So I do have an eye for that kind of detail, that analytics, all the good stuff. And I was really good at that, putting pieces together, but also hey, does this bill go with this? Is this bill a part of that injury, or was it something previous? Or is it something that has happened afterwards? However, some of the deadlines were on, obviously other people's deadlines because you're working for lawyers, and sometimes stuff happens at the last minute. And I just wasn't having the time freedom that I really needed at the time. And so I just wanted to challenge myself and to grow. And then since moving to Texas, like I said, it's been right at 2 years that I've started my own business with my LLC website and have a different business model. I sometimes will do legal nurse consulting for a couple handful of clients that I know, that I trust, that I love working with, and where we have that good relationship. However, I really don't do it as much as I do work full-time in my day job. And my other business that I have started is Sacred Solutions, which is teaching nurses to advocate for themselves. So whether you're a brand new nurse or a nursing student that's about to graduate, or if you've been in nursing or healthcare for a number of years, is really teaching nurses and healthcare providers, professionals, how to advocate for themselves. Because we're really good at advocating for our patients, just not so much ourselves. Even senior leadership, and when I say that, I'm talking about the C-suite people, CEOs, CNOs. A lot of them, no matter if they're male or female, don't know how to advocate for themselves, especially chief nursing officers, especially women. A lot of them at companies that I have met, that I have worked with side by side, they do not know how to advocate for themselves. So therefore, they do not know how to advocate for your team or for you as the employee. They sometimes just don't know how. So if they don't know how can they advocate for you and your team? How can they role model that for you? And it's not always perfect. It's very messy with advocating for yourself, because for every action, there is a reaction. Like I said, when I advocated for time off, and I was like, okay, I need this. So sometimes the answer is going to be no. And then you have to figure out, is it worth the cost? Because there's going to be lots of things to factor in. And I help people navigate that and navigate negotiating win-wins for both sides. And I also teach people how to navigate the healthcare system. As a nurse with 20 plus years, I teach people this as something that's come easy to me. And I just thought, oh, this comes easy because I'm a nurse, I'm in healthcare. And then I realized even for other nurses, it's very difficult for them to navigate the healthcare system, to learn to advocate for themselves, where they're great about advocating for their patients, their families. And so I come alongside and help with that. I also have on my website some great resources, have masterclass, have ebook, playbook, just different resources for fellow nurses, health caregivers. Also working on a couple things right now, such as podcasts, also working on a coloring book for nurses, so super excited. And one of the things I'm proud of the most is not just starting my business and working full-time, is the connections I get to make with people, with fellow nurses and healthcare givers. And I'll say one of the things I am so grateful for in moving and taking that chance on myself and risking a lot, because I didn't know the outcome. I just was like, things have worked out for me before. And that's really easy to say. I did have lots of evidence of, when I'd moved to Columbus from Northwest Ohio, of things working out and getting a job. I remembered moving, from California to Ohio, and, things eventually, working out. And so I was like, okay, I have all this evidence that things have worked out in the past. And that also helped decrease, the fear and anxiety of moving, is just looking at that evidence of everything that I'd overcome with moving different places, that I've done this before, that I've moved, cross country before, a lot younger, had more family support. So I had that evidence, and I did have support. And I will say, if I hadn't moved, I, wouldn't have the business I have now. And I probably would feel stuck, because moving to Texas has opened up a lot of different opportunities and possibilities, and meeting more amazing friends all over Texas, which I love, and getting to meet my partner. If I hadn't moved to Texas, I wouldn't have met him. I wouldn't have met Bruce. We actually started dating probably like 3 months after I moved here. I moved here at, in July, and new job, I started that in August. And then actually one of my friends, when we were in Orlando, she joked, she's like, yeah, moving to Texas is going to open up this whole new dating pool for you, like whole new group of people. I was just like, yeah, whatever, just laughed it off. She was actually right. Because then I had met other friends through my friends, and we became really good friends with that couple. And just, learning their story of how, her and her husband met. And then I was able to meet my partner. Like I said, moved in July, and I met him in October, and we've been dating ever since. And then I moved to like the Fort Worth area in September. And then my current job, I've just started that in February. And being able with that job to have a little bit of flexibility in my hours, which is nice. And also not really having to work weekends. I am on call for what I do. However, having support at work from a manager who's like, okay, you can work from home if you don't have appointments this afternoon, which is really great. Or if I have, doctor's appointments, to be able to leave early. So as a nurse, I know I'm very lucky to have that type of position. I know they're very hard to come by, so I'm very grateful, because I know a lot of my friends do floor nursing or work in healthcare as therapist or phlebotomist or imaging technicians. So they have the full, set schedule. So I completely understand and respect that. And so if I hadn't taken that chance to move to Texas, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't be in, an amazing relationship. I wouldn't be able to be, a bonus mom, a grandma, all these beautiful things that just add value to my life, where I have rich, beautiful friendships. And I had rich, beautiful friendships and family in Ohio. Absolutely. And I still keep in contact with my friends. I promise. I didn't just run away and move to Texas. No. But it's been such a great change for me. And it's just where sometimes I don't give myself credit for everything I've accomplished in 2 years. And sometimes, my boyfriend or friend will say something. They're like, yeah, you've only been here 2 years, and look at everything you've done. And I just look around. I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that. I did start a business, a website, LLC, did move cross country, started a new job, in a relationship, meeting friends. And if I would have stayed in Ohio, yeah, I would have had my amazing friends and family, but I wouldn't have some of these other amazing opportunities. So for me, it's easy for me to say, being on the other side, it is worth it to risk it and move. It is worth it to invest in yourself. Because when I was also making that decision, I had to look at just other factors, not just financial, of happiness and joy and what success looked like to me. and knowing life is short and being like, okay, I have one chance at this life. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to spend it? You know, I have this opportunity to move, and if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So during that, it's real easy for me to say, oh, I have, you know, evidence now and, you know, had faith. But there was moments where a little anxious, moments it was scary. And it's working through that fear. It's having enough faith to work through the fear. I think, I know I don't, unpopular opinion, like the duality of them existing at the same time. I know some people's like, if you know, have faith, you can't fear at the same time. Well, grief and gratitude kind of go in the same bowl, and, you know, where you can be grateful and still desire to have more out of your life and more abundance and want to, you know, do more things or be better, but still grateful for what you have, or still, you know, be grateful, but grieving changes it, grieving changes, grieving transition, grieving loss of jobs, friendships, whatever that is, and still be grateful. So I feel the same thing with faith, is it's having enough faith to get through the fear and whatever that faith looks like for you. And that's what worked for me. And also having support and talking to somebody where there wasn't a conflict in interest of what decision I made, having unbiased support and counsel in that decision, and, you know, people wanting to see me happy. And so I just wanted to share a bit of my journey of, you know, kind of why I moved, because a lot of people have asked. They wanted a little story time if I moved cross country and how it's going for me. So it's going really, really well. And I do love it here in Texas. It does beat the cold Ohio winters. I'm getting used to the heat and summers here. And also just having, you know, amazing family here, and also having amazing neighbors. We actually were playing card games with them last night. We've had them over for like lasagna and tiramisu. Bruce was doing the cooking. I did dishes. That was my contribution. And thankfully having a partner that supports me, supports my dreams, supports my goals, and he might not always agree with them or thinks I'm crazy, or is like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, I'll support you and we'll just see how this goes. And, you know, his just, you know, loving me through it. Or I might say like, hey, I want to do this, and he's like, do you really want to do that? Like, so, you know, we're here to ask the tough questions of, you know, the cost, risk, benefit analysis for his minds. He's gifted a little bit more than me in that area, and he likes numbers and spreadsheets. Me, not so much. I'm learning to love them. I'm learning to look at my numbers. And that's another thing, is just learning that, not being scared of numbers and finances, which I wasn't scared before. It's just, I think a lot of times we think that's more overwhelming than what it is, and we convince ourselves of that. And so I just want to encourage you, if you have a goal, a dream, or vision, don't get up. Don't get up. No, don't give up on it. It may take a little bit more time than what you think, but the time's going to pass anyway. So just keep going for it. Get yourself a really good support system, whether it's in person or online, of a community that's going to support you and celebrate you. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned, was being around people that truly supported me and celebrated me, that just didn't tolerate and accept me. Because I think so many times we want people to like us and accept us and respect us, and that's normal. I'm sorry, that's normal. We all want that. It's easy to say, oh, don't care what people think. No. We care. You know, because we crave community. We were designed for community and connection. And that's why we care. So we want to be accepted, but I stopped that, and of not wanting to be accepted or tolerated, thankfully the circles I'm in are people that celebrate me. And they're happy to see me. They want to support my goals, but they're just happy, to see me. They're, just happy I, showed up to play cards, or just happy showed up to play pickleball. And, you know, they are some of my friends that see me at my worst. They, see me when I first woke up. They see me when my hair's a mess, out of the pool. I'm just, myself, just being myself and not wanting anything from me. They just want the best for me and to allow me to, be myself, and love it when I come over just to hang out and, have the puppies, the little dogs all, going crazy for me. Actually, now they go more crazy for Bruce. I'm sad about that. No. And just having friends that just want to hang out and not have any expectations, where it's not transactional. And, where you're celebrated, where friends are going to be like, no, yeah, she's not going to work for that amount of money. Like, you're crazy. Like, yeah, no, I can't even go to her with that job offer. But here's her resume, and this is what she's worth. You want friends like that. Remember, a while back, I was in Vegas, and the person I was with was like, hey, I'm going to connect you to this person. I think this person is going to be a really good fit for X, Y, and Z. And it was so beautiful to be around this human, Nellie, because we know a lot of the same people, and we're just like, oh, I love this person. And it was just celebrating a lot of the same people that we knew in common, women from different entrepreneurial groups. I'm like, hey, just how do you know her? And be like, oh, I don't know. I think I know them from like this group or that group. But it was just all celebration. It was just so edifying and encouraging. And, I just really encourage you to be around those type of people that celebrate you, that want the best for you, that are just cheering you on, no matter where you're at in your journey, and where they're going to encourage you to rest. They're going to encourage you to rest and pivot, but not give up. And to have those type of people in your life, because that makes all the difference, is having those people that really see you for you, and that truly celebrate you. And they celebrate you because that's just who they genuinely are. There are a lot of good people in this world. I know, with all the craziness on right now in the world, there's always a lot of bad stuff going on, no matter what period of history of time. Always so many bad things. And I'm not naive to that at all, especially I'm in nursing, healthcare. Yeah, we got a broken system. I want to be part of the solution of helping that. And with my current job, I'm able to do that. I'm able to have a voice with, senior leaders, where they do respect my opinion. And so you have one life, and be around people who truly care about you, love you, support you. Life is too short to be around negative people that do not care about you, where it's just transactional. So I really encourage you, take that job, move to that city, go on that date, go on that vacation, even go on that solo vacation. Because life is so short, the time passes anyway. And find yourself a circle of friends that really love you and support you. I know they're out there. If you look, they are out there, and that has made such a huge difference in my life. Also, one thing I know as nurses, it's really hard, is being open to receive, because we give and pour so much out to other people. It's really hard to receive, and that's moving to Texas. That was really hard. I had friends that were like, hey, and this one group of friends, I barely knew them. They're like, hey, well, you're looking for your apartment, come stay with us. I was like, oh, I have these other friends I've known longer. I can stay with them, blah, blah. They're like, no, we have we have this whole suite. Like, you'll have like your own bathroom, own little office, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, just, and, they had a whole pool and hot tub. And I'm like, and I worked from home. So I was like, are you sure? Like, is this okay? But have people like that in your life and be that person for somebody else if you're able to. And for myself, just really being open to receive, knowing my worth, knowing what I deserve, and like really knowing what I wanted, what success looked like for me, and what a healthy relationship looked like, which now I'm, in. And I've had healthy relationships before. But with this relationship, like moving to Texas and finding somebody, as we're both different stages in life, what is, different roles and responsibilities going to look like for us? What is a healthy relationship for us? What does that look like? And nobody can really answer that, for somebody except for people in that relationship. But like really knowing that I was worthy to be loved, open to receiving love, not just open to receive, but I'd say open to receiving love and knowing my worth, knowing I deserved an amazing, healthy, awesome relationship, knowing I deserved, amazing friends, amazing job, with, great pay and benefits, and also to have an amazing business, thriving business, and be able to, I don't want to say balance it all, but able to maintain it all with ease, flow, fun, and not stress, but still work hard, but be able to have fun, rest, go on those vacations, be able to take time off and not feel guilty about it. There's days I completely turn my phone off. Do not feel a pang of guilt for that. Nope, don't feel the guilt for that. Because my mental health is important. And in order for me to give to others, to give to my job, my business, my partner, I have to take care of myself because nobody else can take care of me for me. So I hope this video answers a couple questions of why I, was crazy enough to move cross country by myself. Start a new job, start a business, all the great things that have been happening for me here in Texas, and just a little bit more of why I started the business that I started. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and I will see you all next week.